Wordsmith.
And we brought it back.
This was garbage.
Oh my god. All right.
Holy shit.
So
where to begin?
this is a case, I guess backstory, because this is a movie that came out while I was going through some things.
Yeah.
And it was case this just isn't happening right now. And I was originally gonna skip it. Because I was like, alright, it's a head out of theaters. I don't know if anyone gives a shit at this point. And then you texted me a couple days ago and just said, we need to see this.
Yeah.
So I was like, alright, you can rent it. I don't have to go to a theater. Alright.
I saw Jenny Nicholson's video on it, and it just struck me as so incredibly, holy shit, badly conceived. Just on a conceptual level, it just seemed really bad. But, it's you see a video like that, I had it on kind of in the background. I was watching it on and off, and just very much, I just knew that it was going to be up there for one of the worst of the year. So it seemed like something that was a bad enough idea to be worth us sitting down and just watching it and seeing what happens.
Now, for context for me, I knew nothing about this. I knew, we were calling it problematic for, pretty justifiable reasons, and that's about the most I knew about it. So I wasn't I was like, alright, if I don't watch it, it's not gonna break my heart, or anything like that. And then I watched it, and the minute it clicked for me where this was going,
yeah,
I was like, oh,
you had no context.
No.
I was like, oh yeah.
And I watched the first 10 minutes, this seems fine. It's not good, but it's not it's harmless. Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, and it did not get better.
Nope.
In fact, the way it kind of ends things is kind of morally and ethically horrific, and more than a little monstrous in a few ways, and also has some really bad implications on how to improve your mental health.
So here's one thing about it. Here's one thing is that it's not there's a thing about it where this is one of those movies that is just bad from top to bottom in every possible way that it could be on, a filmmaking level. Some of the acting is fine. The problem is that the writing's bad, the plot is bad, the character conceptions are bad, the filmmaking is bad, the cinematography is bad, the editing is bad, the choices that they made when writing the script and how to direct it. Script, what the fuck? The movie's melted my brain. But how to direct it and everything, it's all just really bad.
And to a baffling degree, that.
Yeah.
It takes a certain level of ineptitude to fuck this up this badly.
Yeah.
And in this poor taste.
Yeah. No, it takes people that don't understand how people work, because there are people who respond to some situations in ways that just don't make sense. It really does not make sense how some of these characters make the decisions that they make.
Yeah, it is pretty. Yeah, everyone in this movie is kind of a monster. Honestly,
at some point,
the main character, especially, but
yes,
bar none, this is one of the worst. One of the worst characters I've seen this year.
Yeah.
Beyond the shadow of a doubt.
Yeah.
And again, it's the only reason it's not the worst is because we did see Sia's music earlier this year.
Yes, it's literally. Here's the thing. I thought that this might be a strong contender for second place. I didn't realize that the only thing that makes music worse than this is that was painful to watch.
Yeah.
This was painful to watch in a different way, but we were able to actively laugh at this.
Yeah.
All the way through, we were laughing and making fun of it. We at least had fun on that level. With music, we just couldn't even do that because it was so offensive.
Yeah.
This one, at least we could do that, and that is the lone saving grace.
Yeah, pretty much. Because
it is as bad on a conceptual level.
The framing of this is just jarringly misplaced.
Yeah.
And I've never seen the original Broadway show. I don't know much about it. I know the movie made the issues worse.
It's like this, but with more homophobia and
Okay.
yeah. It's fun. But where to start? Okay, let's the big thing that makes this movie impossible to watch, aside from everything about it, is like just everything about the conception and the execution. Fine, like that's all bad, but we just need to mention the fact that normally when you have people playing high schoolers,
I was just gonna bring that up.
You have someone in like their early 20s or their late teens, and they got kind of like they got their hair in a certain way, and they got a backpack, and they're dressed a certain way to make them look younger. And there's some people like that in here, you know, and they pass as high schoolers just fine. And then you have Ben Platt. The main character of this movie, Evan Hansen, is played by a dude in his late 20s, and
it shows. It shows too.
It's not. The makeup they got on him just makes him look even worse. Yeah. And it really, there's a romantic subplot in this movie. So you have a young woman who is made up to present and look like a young girl, like a high school girl, and she's having these like there's one song specifically where they're singing to each other about their interest in each other.
You know who he reminds me of?
Oh,
Peter McNichol.
Oh Jesus.
Because I'm saying, like, why does he remind me of Ghostbusters 2? It's like, alright, because it's the
so he's got this girl that seriously looks the part, but he does not look the part.
So he's jarring. It's jarring.
It really, and he's so much bigger than her. So she's like a full head shorter than him, and his head is even larger than hers. So you just really have it looking like there's a full-grown man singing a romantic song to a fucking like 14-year-old girl, and she's reciprocating, and the movie is supposed to have you connect with this moment. And never mind that, like, we'll get into why it's conceptually bad in a minute, because for some reason I feel like we should retain spoilers.
Why?
At least. I don't know. We should have a spoiler line, because when we get to spoilers, it's going to be a whole different conversation.
Oh my god.
Otherwise, we won't know where to start.
Fair point. Alright, go ahead.
So yeah, but this movie is aggressively incompetent. It's kind of amazing.
It's as a basic structure of a musical, like it fails at a fundamental level. First, like the scene is massively inconsistent, and two, like it is like some of the most boring song choreography that I've ever seen in a modern day musical. It's like static still shots of just people sitting or reacting. Yeah. Not even reacting; they're staring at things.
Yeah, people will be singing, sitting in a chair or on a swing or at a desk, and that's it. That's it. They'll just be singing a whole song and just sitting there staring at their dumb fucking face while you're trying to get through this song.
Like a slow zoom in or like go. Yeah. But they're all static shots.
Or like a slow pan or something. But they're just sitting on a couch.
And like it is like most undynamic. How have you ever seen a musical ever? Like ever? Like for God's sake, The Greatest Showman had better choreography than this.
There's like one song with a dance sequence in here.
Yeah, and it's also the context for when it shows up is also kind of horrific.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up. So like, yeah, go ahead.
But we won't go into that part.
You said Greatest Showman.
Oh yeah,
you mentioned
I was gonna say like at least like The Greatest Showman. I guess it was also involved in this movie. We found out.
Yeah, no, the songwriters wrote some of these. They wrote this. Yeah, it makes sense.
Say what you will about that movie. At least The Greatest Showman had fucking show tunes.
Sure,
and like choreography and shit.
But like it's similarly tone deaf.
Oh, I agree.
It makes sense. And so there's this thing where there's so much, dude. There's just so much. There is like just every single thing about this movie is astonishing.
Yeah.
I was constantly surprised. You never get used to it.
No.
Constantly surprised through the whole movie of the decisions they made and what they thought that people would relate to. Like, really, I don't think this was written by real people. These are fucking sociopaths. These are like...
Oh my god, like in some cases quite literally. I know like Amy Adams is in this movie, and for like the first 20 minutes she's on screen, she has like the most serial killer vibes.
Just like, just tell us. Talk to us. Yeah, tell us a story.
Like there was a part I was literally I wanted to like clap in front of her face, like blink, for God's sake, fucking blink.
It's rough. So,
and Julianne Moore is also in this.
Somehow.
And somehow she made the word truck really funny without giving away the truck. Because she's like, did not know how to like doing this
truck coming. Oh god!
There's a whole song where she keeps saying the word truck, no, and it gets funnier the longer it goes.
Here's the big thing about it. That's another thing about this movie. Every song is longer than it needs to be. Like, every song can be a third of the length that it is, but they just keep going. And some of them have false endings. Yeah. It's so weird. Like, they'll make you think that it stops, and it's like panning, it's like zooming out, and like the music kind of goes into a little fadeaway, and then it breaks in with another crescendo. And especially like when Evan first arrives on his first day of school, like, it has the song where he's talking about being alone and everything, and he's walking around
just in everybody's way,
and it fades
about how nobody sees him.
It fades away, and then you're like, oh, okay, well that's fine. And then it breaks into this huge fucking orchestral moment where he's walking into the school rally, and there's nothing happening that merits that level of emotion or intensity. He's just walking to his seat at the rally, singing about how alone he is and how nervous he is about the first day at school, but it has all of the emotion, or the attempted emotion, of like something that should happen in the third act. It's really weird.
And that's and you would think like that's where the movie starts.
Yeah.
And it only gets weirder from there, because when the ethically questionable starts coming up, when the songs that follow shortly thereafter do not match the tone that should be happening in this scene.
Massively tonally dissonant. I don't understand.
It's more like to the point where it's like, you should not be this like cheery and optimistic about the things you're saying right now.
It's so bizarre.
And in any other movie, like, all you gotta do is like change the tone slightly, and it turns into a horror film. Like, and you don't even have to do that much. All you gotta do is like put in the soundtrack from like The Orphan, or whatever the hell those horror movies are, where it's like Mila,
put ominous fucking like monks chanting over some of this shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's put the Saw theme in the background. Ding 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 ding.
Oh man. So yeah, this movie, writing, plot, just overall concept, filmmaking, choreography, cinematography, editing, directing, everything about it is like aggressively bad, to the point that we were laughing a lot of the time. So this could fit as a so bad it's good kind of deal.
Even that. But
even then, there are other movies you can watch for a so bad it's good experience. This is reprehensible. Yeah. And I think that I think we've said everything we can without.
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right, spoiler alert. If you give a shit. But so where do you want to just basic?
If anyone's ever seen the World's Greatest Dad,
sure.
Did you ever see that one?
No, but I heard about it.
It was Robin Williams.
No, Robin Williams. It was directed by Bobcat Goldthwait. I remember that.
I don't know who that is. Yeah. But anyway, it basically has a similar premise, except that at least World's Greatest Dad acknowledges that what he's doing is fucked up from beginning to end, and it's he's profiting from it.
Sure.
This movie has this, with this character runs into this sociopath named Connor, who just yells at his face the minute he sees him walking down the hall. Evan is in love with his sister.
Well, he has a crush on his sister. He's never fucking spoken to his sister properly. All right, first off. Second off, the idea is that Connor has mental problems. And, okay, sure, but what problems? What exactly is going on with this guy? What exactly is he dealing with? And you never find out. It's just
drugs.
Well, no, you don't even know if he does drugs. It's just something they made up.
Well, didn't they the dad was explaining at one point that he was in recovery for drugs, and that's why he got the video.
I don't remember that.
Okay,
we might have been talking over it. I have no idea.
At this point, I've been checked out by that point.
It doesn't matter. But the thing is that he's abusive. He shouts. He terrorizes his younger sister. And is generally just a really troubled young guy. And his parents are rich as fuck.
Yep.
So there's a point where they start yelling about, like, the things that they've done for him to try to help him, but I feel like someone with that much money at their disposal could have done more. And I understand that the idea is that his parents didn't really understand how to help him, so they didn't do what he needed. But at the same time, like, I don't know, it felt really disingenuous about just like, oh, he's fucked up and he's violent. That's how it works. It feels like completely disconnected from the reality of what mental illness actually can be.
I mean, that's one of those areas I don't want to speculate too much with any real certainty because so much goes into that kind of stuff.
I know. Look, I know how that kind of thing can be a real thing. Mm-hmm. I have known, like, I know people who have dealt with psychotic siblings like that, who have, like, been threatened at knife point by their siblings. Like, I don't want to get into the stories because they're not mine to share, but I am aware of real life situations that have happened like this, but Connor is not portrayed as somebody like that. He's portrayed as someone who's struggling and kind of alone himself, but also, like, has anger issues and just irrationally lashes out at people. And it just feels like they took a couple of symptoms that would be, you know, something that you could make something out of, and just like, yeah, he's a troubled youth, and there's a reason that people don't like him, there's a reason his family is concerned about him, and, you know, he does all these bad things, and sure, it feels like, it doesn't feel real, it feels hollow.
Yeah, no, that I would completely agree with. I mean, it's more like about, like, where that kind of mental health can come from. I don't want to speculate too much.
No, absolutely. But I'm just saying that these guys clearly did not.
Oh, absolutely. No argument there.
That's my main point.
Gotcha.
It's not whether or not it could be a real thing. It's that these guys clearly did not care.
Understood. Okay, I'm back on board. All right.
No, that's my whole thing about this. That's why I think that this is as bad as music on a conceptual level, which is amazing, because we didn't think we would ever see another movie that was that bad.
No.
Much less in the same fucking year.
Yeah.
Much less another musical.
Yeah.
Not that was much of a musical, but
neither does be fair.
It's music videos interspersed with the rest of the bullshit. But yeah, my main point with this is that the people making this movie seemed to want to do something to address something without doing the legwork to really understand the thing that they were addressing, and fucking ham-fistedly fumble this thing all the way the fuck through.
And in the process, make some horrifying implications throughout the entire film.
Oh, yeah.
Because the movie starts out with Julianne Moore is putting Evan through, like, therapy. He's got antidepressants and all this kind of thing. And then, like, the movie kind of implies that he becomes better when he's not doing therapy or taking antidepressants.
We're jumping ahead of ourselves.
I know, but that one was a particular bother point for me.
No, it literally. So, because let's get to why. Okay, this is tough.
It is tough.
There's so fucking much here.
Yeah.
So let's just follow the plot for a second.
Okay.
Basic, just cliff notes. He's given an assignment by his therapist to write letters to himself, and he writes a letter to himself about how he's not having a great day and everything, and they're titled, "Dear Evan Hansen," and then goes, and then at the end of it, he's like, "Sincerely, me." So, you know, fine.
Ambiguous.
He prints one out at school.
For some reason.
You find out later, but he prints one out at school. Connor goes and snatches it off the printer and reads it, and in it is something about, you know, the crush that he has on Zoe, which is Connor's sister, which honestly is kind of creepy because he's really doing it in a way of, like, you know, maybe if I knew her, like, maybe everything would be better. Like, he's really putting the weight of his happiness on this girl he's barely spoken to.
Yeah.
And so he does that, and then, like, Connor picks it up and then reads the thing about her, and then assumes that, you know, Evan wrote it to get him to freak out or something, and he does freak out, and Evan is too meek to say anything about it, and Connor runs off, and apparently fucking
3 days later
kills himself.
Yeah.
And
that's when I started to click for me where this was going.
Yeah, it's a weird implication because it kind of implies that freak out was potentially a catalyst for whatever. Clearly someone has to be in a much darker place to even get there in the first place, but, you know, the straw that broke the camel's back or whatever, like, there was like a potential implication within the movie that this note was part of that. And
it only gets worse from there.
Yeah. And
so
his parents.
So like this, and this is where I started to click for me where this was going. Because again, up to this point, I had no idea this plot line, what this plot was. So we're watching this, and they say like, Evan Hansen, come to the principal office, please. I'm like, oh no, because I immediately know where I already know. It's like Connor killed himself, didn't he? Sure enough, that happened there. And then the parents are sitting there, and they pass him back his letter, thinking that Connor is the one that wrote it. And I'm like, oh no. Like, oh shit, that's where they're going with this. And he denies it at first, but you know, like, oh fucking hell, I know exactly where this is going.
Yeah.
And sure enough, he takes credit for it to like, I don't make him feel better at first or something like that.
The family's hurting, and they're like, please, can you just tell it, like, it seems like you were his best friend, like, just, we would love to hear some stories about him, like, tell us anything that you have, like, we just want to hear more about our son. And Evan lies very poorly, but the mom is like trying really hard to cover up for him because she wants to believe this lie with that face. And it's kind of amazing because like Evan sings a song about how him and Connor used to like take walks to an apple orchard and sit there and enjoy the view together all the time. And it really does sound like a love song. And it's really long. Like, it just keeps going.
Which I'm guessing the play probably doubled down on the homophobia there.
Yeah.
Because they do make a joke about it, like, right after that song ends.
Yeah, they make a joke about it right afterwards. But the thing is that he stands up from the dinner table that they're having dinner at and, like, starts singing about this. And it's hilarious because the family's looking at him, with the exception of the mom, like, the sister and the dad are looking at him like he's actually stood up from the dinner table and started singing in the middle of dinner. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, they have very confused looks on their faces, and it's pretty funny.
And the dad just has this look on his face like, did you fuck my son?
So, you know, it's terrible, and it's Lord. At least kind of funny.
But this is where the tonal dissonance becomes really jarring, because the entire time he's making this horrible lie. He doesn't even bring up the orchard because he brought up like the fact he climbed a tree and he fell off the tree. That's how he broke his arm.
Yeah, no.
And then the mom goes like, oh, the apple orchard. He took it to the apple orchard. That's where he used to go all the time. It's like,
tell us about the apple orchard.
Yes, the apple orchard. So, and then, but the tone of the song is like really whimsical and like happy-go-lucky. And that's when the dance sequences come in.
No. That's the one after.
Oh, it's the one after. Right. Okay, you're right.
Because I think you went to the bathroom real quick. But no, it's this thing where he's like singing this ballad about how we used to go to the orchard and sit under the tree, and it was the only time when we both felt okay, and we knew that we had each other, and like all this shit, and it's weird. And then he goes to talk to his best friend, who's not really a friend. His friend doesn't really seem to want to like be his friend. They're family friends. Makes it very clear that he doesn't want to be real friends. Literally says we're family friends. Please respect that. And in the play, apparently this dude is just a massive homophobe. So in the movie, they just made him gay so he would be allowed to make gay jokes. And yeah, so they set the mom asks him to like, they said they didn't find any correspondence from him with Evan, and they're like, oh, he probably made it from another email account. So, you know, we would really love it if you could show us the messages that you sent back and forth. Like, what kind of a request is that?
Yeah.
Why is that something that is...
Why do you want to see that?
Yeah, so this dude sets off on like a mission with his friend to write fake letters that they wrote back and forth. And they joke about like, oh, like, don't say it this way, say it this way. Who talks like that? That's weird. That sounds a little much.
Yeah, because
like,
that's the weird part about this whole affair.
Yeah, and this is the song that's kind of whimsical and jokey and fun.
Yeah.
And it's got an imaginary dance sequence where Evan and Connor are dancing. You know, Connor, the dead kid.
Yep.
And they're just dancing and having fun, and it's got like this tone to it, but it's not.
It's horrifying. It's so jarring given the context of the scene, because not even lean to like a dark humor part of it. Like, no. It's playing it 100% straight and genuine.
Yeah, it really intends you to think that like, oh well, let's think. It intends you to think something that seems impossible to feel in the, like, what person would think this is the tone for this moment? Because Evan is already not okay with doing this in the first place, and now he's just panicked and trying to cover his ass. But
it's also like treated like a growth moment for Evan, as if he's becoming more confident, and he's learned all these things. And that's like the most disturbing part about this whole like plot line, is the fact that up until the last 30 minutes, this movie barely does anything to question his behavior.
Yeah, this movie takes a big, strong step towards just being like, well, he's becoming more confident, and he's giving the family more positive memories of their son to hold on to, and the fucking the GoFundMe thing.
And then Evan, in the process of this, gets everything he wants.
Yeah, he becomes popular. He gets a lot of followers on Instagram. People are saying hi to him in the hallway. The Connor's fucking sister starts developing a connection with him because he's giving her good memories to hold on to. And so he starts leaning into the romance with this dead guy's younger sister, who, might I remind you, looks half his age.
Which, when they have the scenes that actually help, like, we're messaging Matt while we were watching this, and because he was the one that was supposed to watch this with me, and we'll get his reaction when he sees himself, because like I feel like you and I are gonna just be curious.
Yeah, no, I definitely want to know how he.
But we just like took a picture of that, and I just like messaged it to him. I was like, "What's wrong with this picture?"
The two of them standing next to each other.
It's just like, it's so jarring, and it's so gross, and it's so like inappropriate, which is a good way to summarize a lot of this fucking movie.
Yeah. So like even like the visual aspect of the age difference is already like it makes it impossible. But the fact that he's exploiting the vulnerability of this girl, in her traumatic fucking
horrific.
It's such an incredibly vile concept, and the whole way that they make it better is like, but he's lonely. He's lonely, and now she's opening up to him, and now they can have a connection. And it's isn't it good for him? Like, this really feels like it was written by somebody who was super lonely, and just like, but in their mind they are a fucking self-centered psychopath, because there is. Like, I agree fully with what Jenny said in her video. She said this feels like it was written by Evan to make himself look good about the whole, like, it was written by him about the situation to make himself look good.
Because literally, if you take it from any other direction, any other tone, like, Evan is a monster.
Yeah,
like, bar none. Like, he's inexcusable. He is monstrous. He's manipulative. He is cruel.
Yeah,
and he's a terrible human being and does not deserve any kind of any kind of reward for anything he does. Yeah. And even when he does finally have like the liar revealed by part of the story, he barely faces any consequences.
That's the thing about this movie that makes it so jarring. Aside from like everything we've mentioned so far, the main thing, now that we're getting into the plot stuff, is that it really does feel like it was written by somebody who wanted to make this guy the hero of the story and was writing everything else around it to make it seem like it's justifying his actions and making him seem like not to blame for the bad things he's doing, and when they don't realize just how much worse these things are making him look.
Yeah.
It really is like somebody who's like, but I did this, and you're like, that's not better. You realize you just fucking told on yourself.
Yep.
You realize that the thing you're bringing up is not a justification. It's actually worse. You're admitting that you're a terrible person, and you think that this justifies it, but it doesn't. And this whole movie reeks of that kind of tone, and it's fucking disgusting.
Because everyone bends over backwards to apologize for him, practically.
Yeah.
Like Julianne Moore's big truck number is basically saying, like,
truck.
But this is the part where this is where we have running gags in the movies up to this point.
Yeah.
Because like up to this point, when we started, we had to pause because we were laughing so hard.
Yeah.
Well, it's like when we do get the confession scene where he does finally reveal what he's done, and there's the part where it cuts to and he makes like a duck face.
No, he initially like mumbles it. He's like, words fail.
And then it cuts to like this close-up face where he's all sad. He goes, words fail.
he's pushing way too hard into his singing and the emotional parts.
Yeah.
And it makes his face bulge. Like, it's like the veins pop out on his neck and his whole face scrunches up. I love what Jenny Nicholson said. She said it looked like his face was trying to escape his head. And it's fucking amazing. But it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. But it leads to some unintentional hilarity.
So that's part is like, this is like the emotional crux of the film where he's like finally gonna maybe face some consequences.
Hang on. We skipped over the whole fucking, like, the Indiegogo or the Kickstarter or the GoFundMe.
Because like I just know it from the girl from The Hate You Give. By the way, also has a really funny introduction. Because she opens up, she's like the lead president of all these different things.
At the rally.
And she's like, that's fun, right?
She's like, that's awesome. You guys are so awesome. It's so great.
You know what's not awesome? Deforestation. And it just comes right out of nowhere, and you can't tell if it's a joke
and it cuts away.
Genuine.
And it goes to another scene, and it's like, wow, okay. Setting the tone for her as like a self-righteous hippie person, I guess. But she herself does like
horrific things.
It's this thing where, okay, so they work together to start a fund for
Connor. Yeah.
They call Connor's dead, so not.
They call it the Connor Foundation Fund or something like that.
The Connor Project.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And I remember because it feels like a really weird, like, this doesn't feel right. Take on the Trevor Project. You know what the Trevor Project is,
I've
right?
Heard it, yeah.
So this is a real thing. Where'd it go? Yeah. Yeah, it is a 24/7 crisis support thing for LGBTQ people. And it is specifically meant to support, young people going through crisis. And it's basically like, yes, it offers services and everything, but on a certain level, that means it's a suicide hotline. Mm-hmm. It is meant to support people through their mental health crises that come from, not being accepted for who they are. And the fact that this play movie thing decides to call its thing the Connor Project just feels gross. Vaguely distasteful. Like, I can't quite place exactly why it feels so gross. I don't know that it would feel so gross if it was actually a good story, but in the context of all the shittiness of the rest of it, the fact that they, like, co-opt that really bothers me.
That's totally valid. I do have to talk about the moment that broke both of us.
Well, but then they use that project is to take over the orchard or plant. What were they doing with the orchard?
I shut down. Right? Like the orchard was shut down. They want to bring it back. Okay. As like a memorial thing. But what this culminates into is they talk Connor into making a big speech in front of the.
Not Connor. Connor's dead.
Sorry, not Connor. Evan into doing this big speech in honor of Connor. With
Connor's honor.
with using his best like Nickelback album cover photo.
Oh god. The photo they have of Connor in the background is really bad. It looks like he was posing for a photo and then fucked it up and got mad at the photographer and was like, this photo was taken just before he lunged at the photographer. Like seriously him like just at a sideways like what the fuck like. It's funny.
But anyway, you were making a sandwich during this time because I know because I had to call you back in specifically for this.
Yeah.
And yet, like he's very nervous. He stumbles. He falls with flashcards, and then he has a big sad song that sounds like a Christian ballad.
It does sound like a faith song.
Where I was waiting to go Jesus or something like that, and it all the kids take videos of it, and then they put out this YouTube title card.
Oh my god!
And I was like,
I forgot.
Because you were in the kitchen, and I'm like, whoa, what? Get back in here. Get back in here right now. And you run back in here, and you run back, because I wanted to see your face. And sure enough, it goes on YouTube, and the video title is, His Best Friend Died.
No, his best friend killed himself.
Yeah, you won't believe what happens next.
You won't believe what he does next.
Oh, what he does next, that's what it was. And you just, what?
Just this very loud, like, wow! Just.
And then, like, they have to do this, like, montage collage thing of like everyone reacting to the video in like in real time and talking about how many views it's getting and how much attention it's getting,
going
and hashtags and all like testimonials and stuff like
people posting videos of themselves like, oh god,
like, oh, you all need to see this is so inspirational, yada yada yada.
And it does this montage of people like watching their phones seriously and then looking up like something's dawning on them, like, huh, I'm not alone after all. Like it really is a like thanks I'm cured kind of moment.
Yeah.
Where he just gives this speech about like, you're not actually alone, and
it's like the most generic BS.
It is
like motivational.
It is incredible. And the number of responses it gets online that are just people saying like, yeah, this really helped me. This really helped me overcome my depression. Like, no, that's not how any of this shit works. Like,
and then add insult to injury, where it leads to is like
the videos, floating.
Like, we're all seeing all these bunch of videos that are slowly encapsulating the screen. It's like, motherfucker, if this forms a photo of Connor, I'm gonna throw something at the TV.
don't throw something at my TV.
No, I'm not. I'm gonna imagine myself throwing something really hard.
It's expensive TV.
But anyway, but like this, or sure enough, and all from not even like one of those like mishmash pictures of somebody where you can still see like the parts that made it. No, it's just a pure perfect version of Connor, and I just like, fuck you. You're laughing. I'm pissed off. I'm like, fuck off, movie.
I knew it was going to happen.
Fuck off.
I knew it was going to happen from the Nicholson video that I watched, and the fact that you called it and were so upset about it, I was just not saying anything because it was just pure joy from the moment that he said like, oh, if it forms that thing in my head, I'm like, oh, it's gonna. And like a few seconds later, just like, motherfucker. I was like, ha, this is terrible. It's so good.
Christ.
But it's good to know that it is that predictable.
Yeah.
It is that fucking, it's that level of Hallmark bullshit.
It thinks it's being deep. It thinks it's saying something meaningful and passionate, but it's really, it's most, to say it's unhelpful is an understatement.
Yeah.
I would actually call this movie actively harmful, if anything.
And that's now that we've gone through the main stuff, let's get to the real thing, because my big thing with this is that as somebody who deals with a lot of fucking mental health issues, dealt with a lot of trauma, is neurodivergent, deals with a fucking lot of chronic depression, and plenty of suicidal ideation, still. Like, things get real bad sometimes. Had a lot of it over the past few months because of some stuff that happened, let me tell you. But for this fucking movie to imply that all you need to do is become popular off of a hollow lie, and he doesn't even make any real fucking friends.
Nope.
He just gets likes on Instagram. He just gets followers on Instagram. He just like, and people say hi to him in the hallways. There's no real fucking relationships that he's forming outside of the creepy one where he's preying on the fucking vulnerability of the younger sister of the dude whose death he's co-opting to build himself a fucking image out of. It's incredible. Like, the sheer fucking audacity to pretend that this is okay, much less a good thing, is despicable. And to imply that, you know, watching a 3-minute inspirational song or, you know, fucking be like getting a bunch of Instagram followers or connecting with the girl you had a crush on in the middle of an emotional fucking traumatic event, or, you know, what was going on, what was the thing you were talking about, like going off your meds and shit?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say like this movie pretty much promotes like, you don't need things like therapy or antidepressants. Those only make it worse. You need to exploit the vulnerable. You need to exploit trauma. You need to get popular off it, admit it, do some performative bullshit, make stuff look a little bit better.
Lie.
Lie.
Manipulate.
All damn goddamn day. Prey on people all goddamn day. Face no consequence for it, and like even though you like, oh, they don't want to deal with him anymore. Oh, boo-hoo. But like, that's the most he gets. Everyone else is still perfectly fine with him. They give him some judgy stares, but that's about as far as it goes. The orchard still gets put up again. Everything still works out in the end for this fucking guy, and he absolutely does not deserve it because he is a fucking monster.
the fact that he goes to this family who's being really loving towards him because he's offering them something to hold on to, which is a complete fabrication in their moment of need.
Yeah.
And he yells at his own mom, who has to work all the time because his father abandoned them and has been struggling to support him since he was a kid and has been just trying to get him, like, it doesn't sound like, she's doing too well financially. Mm-hmm. And we all know therapy's not fucking cheap.
Nope.
Therapy and medication are not cheap things, especially in America. So when you're talking about this woman who's put all of this into it, there's a point later where he straight up comes out and lashes out at her for having him go to therapy because he says it makes him think that he's broken and needs fixing.
Fuck off.
And she does insist, like, there's nothing wrong with needing therapy and stuff. And she's right on that. But he really does push the whole idea of, I'm okay now because I got an actual family to hang on to. And there's literally a point where she says, you are the most important thing. You are the best thing that's ever happened to me. And I'm sorry I can't offer you anything more than that. And he responds, well, some people can.
Yeah, it's despicable.
Holy fuck. And it's the family he's preying on.
Yep, and the movie supports this narrative, which makes it all the worse.
Not to mention that this family is the same family that could not offer their other son, well, their real son, the support that he needed to get through his own mental health issues. The only thing that Evan is getting is this sick fucking validation. And it's really just attention. He's just being given attention.
Yep.
That's all he's been given. And it's from... I can't stress enough. It is from a family that he is manipulating in a time of great fucking pain.
It's gross. It's fucking gross.
And we're meant to... the movie makes it seem like we're meant to empathize with Evan.
Yeah. Like, this movie 100% supports his narrative of things, despite the fact that his actions are morally and ethically reprehensible, and he deserves nothing good to happen to him.
Yeah.
But the movie wants you, like, this is all like, oh, but he's getting confidence, making new friends, getting all these things.
Also, it's like he got swept up in this situation. He couldn't do anything about it.
But except he's clearly the provocateur of every step of the way. Every step of the way. He could have done so many things to take a step back and say, hey, this has gone too far. Like, anything to show they have some kind of something resembling a conscience.
Well, he also, like, at the very beginning, he tries to accept responsibility, but as soon as he starts getting that validation, is when he starts being like, oh, I can ride this out. And apparently the original stage play did a little more to kind of make him seem like,
vilify him a bit.
Kind of make him get a proper comeuppance of sorts, to kind of make it seem like, yes, this is a bad thing that he's doing a little bit.
Which makes the change from that to the movie even more jarring.
Yeah, it's one of those things where they didn't need to do that.
It's kind of like as someone who watched a play and is like, I don't really like this consequence bit of it. Maybe I'll just take a little bit of that away.
Yeah, someone watched the play and was like, who really should... who gets a bad rap in this story? Evan. He really was just misunderstood. He's just a poor kid. Like, why would they make it seem like he was... I don't see anything wrong with anything he did. Let's make a movie to set the record straight.
What's kind of funny is we know that what's the main actor's name?
Ben Platt.
Ben Platt's father produced the movie.
Yes.
I'm willing to bet it was the producer note who just said I don't want my son to have consequences in the movie. Is there a way you can make it more relatable to him?
But Platt plays it completely sympathetically.
Yep.
We are meant to, and let's be real, Platt gives it his all. It's not his fault. He looks literally twice as old as the other actors. But it's this thing where, then he defended himself on Twitter and was like, look, if my dad hadn't funded the project, it probably wouldn't have been made in the first place, so...
And he thought that was a good defense.
which is definitely in line with, the whole, Evan thing, where... this doesn't make you look better, dude. This is not a good defense. This is worse. This is even worse. So, I mean...
You're one of look at people and go do you hear what you said?
No, it's that Good Place meme. It's like, yes, but that's worse. You do see how that's worse, right? It's just, yeah, it's very much that. And, oh god, it's really bad.
Oh my god, this is not Sia level bad. It's close. And that shouldn't be the case.
It should not be this close.
It should not be this close.
It's kind of amazing that something's this close this soon.
Yeah.
It's almost like, when, God, what was it? When you remember when Game of Thrones season 8 happened?
Yeah.
And people were like, holy shit.
Yep.
We can't believe that somebody fucked up the ending of this massive, epic buildup, this huge, beloved series. Like, they managed to fuck it up this bad. We've never seen something fucked up this badly before. Man, I don't think we'll ever see something like that again. And then Rise of Skywalker came out the same year. And it was kind of amazing how quickly we were like, wow, somehow, just as quick. How did this happen this badly, this fast?
I think my favorite part from last year was just when you went on a massive Rise of Skywalker tirade during the worst of list, and then
was that last year?
No, a couple years ago. Whenever
2019, yeah.
And you just kind of like, my number one was not Rise of Skywalker. And you're like, what could possibly be worse than Rise of Skywalker? Tell me. I want you to look me in the eye and tell me what is possibly worse than Rise of Skywalker. Tell me. I was like, Medea family funeral. I was like, fair.
That was a good moment. That was a genuine moment too.
Yeah,
like, that was not...
you were so mad.
Oh man. No, that's I like
But then you got madder at me when you were like, wait, so Rise of Skywalker wasn't on your list at all?
Yeah, no, that blew me away.
Yeah.
That blew me away. That's different. That's another level, like, how? The level of that failure. Anyway, we'll never stop talking about that. It's unforgivable.
The books are still trying to justify it.
Fuck off. They can try retroactively justifying whatever they want. They're never going to actually fix the fact that none of the movie was written with any of that in mind.
Oh, I agree. No, that's my issue with the prequels. But
No, like force impregnation. Okay.
no, but I see it was actually an evil plan by Sidious to like make an evil baby.
With his force powers.
With his force.
That's why he got
it. Did it. You understand, you.
No, it was with his force powers, right? Mentally, he impregnated Anakin's mom.
It's something stupid like that.
No, it was pretty bad. It was pretty
stupid.
bad. It's still worse. It's still not. It's not better.
No,
but anyway,
you do see how that's worse, right?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so we didn't think we were going to see something this
anywhere
bad.
Near on the caliber of Sia's music.
Yeah,
because like whenever we saw like watching Sia's music, the first 5 seconds of watching that movie, how low,
very quickly,
how low our expectations were. Going into it, then we saw the first 5 seconds,
and they were shattered.
and immediately we're like, "This is somehow so much worse than we imagined."
Yeah,
and kind of in the same way in this one, I heard that. And same with this one. As soon as you see the 30-year-old man like get out of bed, we're like, "Oh no, this is already worse than we thought."
Yeah,
and not nearly the same level because at least this character isn't doing like autism blackface.
Yeah, it was this was at least just an execution issue, not a conceptual issue immediately.
Yeah.
And then when the conceptual issue came along, you're like, oh no, oh they're doing it, and they do it for and that's another thing. This movie's like 2 hours and
long.
17 minutes long. It's not a short movie. But yeah, this is worse than Profile by far. Like this is
Profile we can kind of just laugh at and not take seriously. But
this is somehow. I guess the point that we're trying to make is that we expected there to be music and then every other worst movie of the year.
You didn't think anything would come even remotely close to it.
Yeah.
Like, there was such a large gap of quality compared to anything else we've seen that year that we just didn't think anything would even come close to bridging that gap.
Yeah.
And now we do.
Now
and
it's like music, Dear Evan Hansen, and then everything else.
Which is like, and that just should not be the case.
Yeah.
There should be like two this massively offensive, tone-deaf movies in the same year, both weirdly well-intentioned, and like with people who think they know even remotely what they're talking about, and just make everything worse by proxy. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like, if I saw a movie that was so bad that it made me question life and morality, but made by well-intentioned people who don't understand what the fuck they're talking about, I would have 10 cents. That's not a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice.
No, it's
I'm sorry. You get where I was going with that. But go ahead.
Yeah. So I will say this is easier to watch than music because we were able to laugh at it. It is poorly executed enough to be laughable, and there's not there are definitely moments throughout it where we're like, oh God, no, like it was bad, but it wasn't to the point where we were literally angry for the majority of the runtime.
Yeah, I remember just watching. Like, we watched Sia's music like we were watching a minstrel show. Like, there really is not a whole lot of ways to describe it.
It was genuine fucking anger.
Yeah.
It was that offensive. And this is not that offensive. At no point were we actively angry. We were just like, holy
flabbergasted.
Yeah, more just astonished that someone could think this was okay. But it wasn't upsetting on the same level. It was just really uncomfortable and like, no. Because it's like the really racist suburban mom trying to make an apology for saying something racist, but in the process says multiple other racist things, and you're like, oh, this is bad.
Like, you're somehow making this worse. I didn't think it was possible. Yeah. You're somehow pulling it off.
Yeah, versus, the actual KKK member yelling in your face.
Because at least you know what you're getting yourself into with that.
No, I'm saying with that one, like, you're at least, like, the KKK member is legitimately upsetting because it feels malicious.
That's true. Yeah.
It feels like you're being attacked. The suburban mom, you're just like, oh, honey.
I see what you're saying. Yeah,
No. Yeah. The suburban mom is Dear Evan Hansen. So, yeah.
Fuck this movie.
But worth a hate watch if you really wanna, if that's what you're looking for. There's a lot better stuff out there. Just go watch Censor. It's on Hulu. It's a pretty cool, weird horror movie that's out right now. Like, so many horror movies are on sale for like $5 on iTunes right now. Like, there's a lot of really good fucking movies. Like, go see Titan in theaters. It's fucking weird and like really unsettling, but weirdly beautiful at the same time. It's really avant-garde filmmaking that pays off. Don't go see Lamb. It's boring as shit. It's like,
was Halloween Kills any good?
It's okay.
We'll get to that later.
It's okay. Wait, I thought you saw it.
I have not yet.
Oh.
You told me you were watching it, and I wasn't able to enjoy it because I was tired.
Oh. Okay. Right. Well, we'll figure that out. Anyway, it's just, if you can help it, I'm not going to tell you to do anything illegal, but I will tell you, don't pay to see this. Don't give this money. If you for some reason know somebody that owns it already, go get it, go watch it with them or get it from them or something, or whatever way you have of seeing this otherwise without throwing extra money at it, whatever that may be. I'm not endorsing illegal means, but just don't give this fucking movie money.
I will say I am growing increasingly excited for our best and worst this year because man, has this been a roller coaster of a year.
There's been some really interesting stuff this year.
Amazing films that have really stuck out. I mean, I thought a lot about it since I watched it, and some movies that have stuck out me for the exact opposite reason.
It's kind of been an astonishing year for movies.
Yeah.
It's been really good.
I've been eagerly waiting for 9 Days to come out on streaming so I can watch that again.
Yeah. There's a lot of really, really good stuff that came out this year. And some not as many bad movies. There have definitely been like a lot of mediocre movies.
But the ones that have been bad
have been holy
spectacularly
shit,
bad.
Like some of the worst shit I've ever seen. Mainly music.
Yeah.
Music is going to stand out in my life as one of the most horrifying pieces of shit I've ever seen.
Hands down the worst movies I've ever seen in my life.
But yeah,
I think that's all we got. Let's wait. Words fail. Truck.